Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. I have Tim Cox, co-founder and senior vice president of sales for CarNow. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you, Lee. It's an honor to be on.
Well, tell us about CarNow. How are you serving folks?
So, CarNow is a technology company. We started about 5 years ago, and we started with a communication platform, chat, text, being able to deliver rich content to consumers and making that ever so crucial, automotive buying decision. And then from that, we have evolved into what has been named in the automotive community as digital retailing. Being able to buy a car online is what we do. Being able to calculate payments, being able to pull credit, doing basically everything you could do in a dealership, and in most cases actually have a better experience than even being actually sitting in the store.
Now, is the platform dealer agnostic, or you work with certain dealer partners?
We have about 4,120 some dealer partners across the country. We have 14 OEM partners. And so that is, we have dealerships in every single state and every OEM, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Ford, Chevy, BMW, et cetera.
And are these new cars or they're used cars?
Well, they're both. So what we do is we just assist the dealer to where we lay our code over their existing website. And now we are that communication portal to where we know their inventory as well as they know their inventory. So whether it's a new car or a pre-owned car, we have the ability to give that white glove experience to the customer to differentiate their store from the rest of the dealerships.
So now, how does it work for the consumer? So they're kind of entering the car buying experience through CarNow?
That is correct. We are the portal that they use. So for example, let me paint it like this. So if someone clicks a button, chat. So you see those chat buttons, you see text buttons, you see calculate payment. That is what's called a call to action. And then therefore, through a series of AI or, artificial intelligence, or we have call centers centered around the country, we can answer any question that customer may have. And then we have the ability to loop in the dealership in real time. So the dealer can actually, whether our call center is answering for example, we have a call center in Detroit. So if our call center in Detroit is answering a dealer in Atlanta, we have the ability to actually ping that dealer if the customer asks some questions like, can you get me finance? What's my car worth? That type of thing. So we have that constant open communication with the dealership at all times and 24 hours a day.
So now, how do you choose?
So when the dealership goes home, we can still answer that.
Right, you're working 24/7, I would imagine, on their behalf.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now,
yes,
but
sir.
How do you make the choice between which dealer to kind of point the consumer to?
No, so we go on a individual. So we don't make that determination. So we are agnostic to where we can go on all the individual dealers' URLs. So if it's ABC Toyota, we're going to put our call to actions on that particular dealership. So we will actually integrate their inventory with our tool and allow that to be the function of what we do. So it's just like their people because we have the dealer's inventory, we have their service times, we have everything. So our code lays over their existing website.
Right, but like say I'm a consumer here in Atlanta and I say I'm interested in a Toyota Camry. Then there's multiple Toyota dealers. How do I know which dealer I'm being pointed to, or does that matter? Or do I just care about the car and I don't have like an emotional tie to a specific dealer?
No, it's just like I said, if you land on a dealership, we have no determination on where you go. We only take over once a consumer like yourself would land on a particular dealership's website. So we're not going to do anything with Google searches or anything like that. That's up to the dealer to market customers to get them to come to their site. Once they're on their site, we take over call to actions like text, a chat, get my e-price, value my trade, anything like that. Our people, once the customer pushes that button, that is when our team goes full in effect and tries to give that customer all the information that they need to make that decision to get that customer to come into the dealership.
Okay, so you're working with the dealership and their website. There's no CarNow website.
That is correct. There is no CarNow website, which is a third party, like, for example, AutoTrader or Cars.com
right.
or Carvana
or
something like that. No, that does not exist. We are truly supporting the actual dealer websites where they sit. That is correct.
And that's part of it is your background has been through dealerships, and you kind of learned the pain they're having and then where the opportunity is?
1,000%. So my background, I've been in the car business since 1989, and, a day-to-day is very busy for a normal sales manager or general manager. There's a lot going on. There's service, there's sales, there's parts, there's all this going on, and what we provide based on this tool being built by car dealers, car guys like myself, we know the pains, and being able to communicate. Oh, look, people, when you take care of people and you give them more than they ask for, usually when you go to a website, in some car dealers, you'll ask, hey, is this available? They'll say, hey, that's not a problem. Give me your name, give me your number. I'll have somebody get back with you. What we do is, hey, not only is this car available, here's 3 videos. Let me send directly to your phone, a walk around video and a couple features that you may or may not have known that car to have. We send that directly to the consumer, engaging them, differentiating the experience they have online virtually to where they want to go to that dealership.
Right. So you're able to really put a car dealer's website on steroids and including kind of better, I'm sure, customer service because it's working 24/7. And this is all you're doing. So you're probably much better at it than any one individual dealer would be.
Correct.
Now, in today's climate where, most people are in some sort of shelter at home situation, I'm sure that's terrible for a dealership. This is where your service would come in extremely handy right now, I would think.
Yes. So, I've told my team, now for the past month, we have not been selling software. I mean, I don't want to sound cheesy, but we're selling hope. We had a dealer call us 2 days ago, from New York. And there's some states that salespeople aren't even allowed to be in the dealership. But our tool allows dealers and sales managers who are home right now to interact with their customers and take deposits on those vehicles. So setting up, and again, this varies state to state, setting up virtual or remote service pickup and delivery. So we're putting buttons on the website that says, set up your in-home service pickup and delivery, or set up your in-home test drive. So again, depending on the governing bodies of the state and counties and what we're allowed to do, we can conform and we can transform our experience to where they're still selling cars. There's a dealer group that called yesterday. They sold 50 cars yesterday. Now, granted, they had 20 total dealerships. They sold 50 cars yesterday and serviced a bunch of cars remotely and brought them into the store, and not one salesperson was actually in the dealership because the state said they couldn't go to the dealership. So we're doing all of this virtually. Customer comes in, let me click my price. Can you help me? The salespeople now who are not at the store, they're responding via text and chat, communicating, they're putting the deal together, they're printing the paperwork, and then obviously delivering the vehicle directly to their home, picking up the trade-in, so on and so forth, and the customer never leaves their home.
So now the car dealers are how are they handling their website typically? Before CarNow came into play, like how much of a priority is that, and how are they handling it?
So this, unfortunately, this COVID-19 has really forced a lot of dealers to immediately get thrust into the digital world, because now they can't have salespeople at home. So yes, we had a lot of dealers prior to this, but as you can imagine, we have, our phones have been ringing off the hook this past month for dealers to put our platform on their websites, because it allows them to stay open, not only in sales, but in service. A dealer's most profitable department is service. And and a lot of dealers are selling cars to hopefully serve that customer in the service department. So for us to be able to allow that to continue has really, hastened the process of dealers buying in, because before this happened, dealers were making money and they were doing things their way. They were basically saying, well, why do I need it? What they're finding now is a lot of states, they can't do, most states, if not all states now, you can't, at least for the immediate future, we can't do things the way we did it before. So we have to figure out what we're finding with our dealers now, even in the few short weeks that this has been going on, is they're seeing how easy it is and how customers are responding digitally versus the typical, let me come in, let me drive 5 cars and go back and forth. It's more direct, it's seamless, it's more of an Amazon type purchase, and it's better for the consumer and it's better for the dealer as well.
Now, are you finding the consumer is embracing this? Like you said, it's a change in their behavior, because before they used to, this is what they're going to do for a few weekends, is go out and play test drive. And now this is almost like you said, an Amazon-like experience. It's like, okay, I know I like this car. I'm just got to get the best deal now.
That's spot on. What's happening, in fact, that same New York dealer that I spoke of prior to that, he was telling our sales manager in New York, he's like, he said, for the first time in a long time, obviously I'm home with my family because I'm not at the dealership. I sat down on demand I can't remember, it was on demand or Netflix, had a movie that was showing in the theaters now, but because the theaters are closed, he's seeing it for $20. His whole family's watching a brand new movie. He said, I'll never go to the movie theater again. He said, I believe now that I've been forced in doing business this way, I believe consumers are going to react the same way. Are people still going to go into the dealership? Absolutely. People love, we in the United States have a love affair with automobiles. But as far as what people don't like is they don't like the back and forth. They don't like 3 hours in the business office. They don't like all that. They love the experience of buying a car without all the negotiation. What we're doing is we're taking that out. There's still negotiation, obviously, but we're making it more seamless, very easy, with a combination of AI flows and communicating back and forth, which is quite frankly making it a very better experience. So to answer your question at the end, yes, consumers, it doesn't take long for consumers to react. Once they say, oh my gosh, I just tapped this button, I answered a few questions, I went in, and my car ended up showing at my driveway. I don't think I'll do this. There's going to be, a big number, thinking that way. Dealers who have adopted it are thinking that way. But again, going into a dealership is not going to go away. People still love that too, but it's definitely, sped the process up for sure.
Now, are some car manufacturers and dealerships being more aggressive in terms of having good deals out there right now?
This is an amazing time to buy a car. As you can imagine, the SAR was supposed to be around 16.5 million cars this year. I listened to a report for J.D. Power. That number is now estimated somewhere between 13.5 million to 14.3 million. At the same time, Engagement on websites are up, but actually buying cars the last 3 weeks is down about 45%. What that means is there is a lot of amazing deals out there. You've probably heard it. 120 days before your first payment. 90 days before your first payment. Employee pricing, 0% for 84 months. So I would encourage people support, just like, we've seen on the news, support your local restaurants, get takeout. These dealers now, has been the best time I've ever seen, quite frankly, to purchase an automobile, because the deals are just, even interest rates, with interest rates dropping and the deals, everything is just a phenomenal time to still be buying an automobile. And there are dealers out there that are, at least the dealers we're dealing with, are doing the right precautions, making sure they wrap plastic around the steering wheel, making sure they're wiping everything down, making sure it's one touch, making sure that everything is done clean, and we're allowing the consumers to do that. So it is a great time to buy a car.
Now, any tips for the consumer if they have never done this before? Like, what's some do's and don'ts from a consumer standpoint to make sure they're getting the best deal?
Make sure, right now, again, the OEMs, especially with new cars, pre-owned cars is a whole different world, because on a pre-owned car, the unique things about a pre-owned car, if you're looking at a used car, there's only one car like that in the world, right? There's only that one Camry with that exact many miles and that color that smells that way. There's only one car. So it's a little different aspect. But as far as new cars, I would just suggest, especially buying a car as you're sitting, because screen times, as we know, are way up, and website traffic is way up. Make sure you put the right information in there to the consumer, especially about your trade. Our technology allows a consumer to take a picture of their trade, send it in through the portal, walk around. Just be truthful. If the car's been in an accident and it's been in an accident, let the dealer know it's been in an accident. These are the things that we run into, because sometimes, whether, you say, hey, I don't know if my car's had been in a wreck or paint work, and then the car comes in, and then we give a number one way, and then the car comes in a different way. Obviously, that number has to change. But on both sides, look, car people, the majority of everyone I deal with are honest, great business people, and they just want to take care of their customers. And if we provide you as a consumer, provide the good information back and forth, it's a great experience. Again, you can do most of it online, put all the right information in to make sure that you're getting a better deal. And quite frankly, the OEMs on the new side right now have really taken the guesswork out of it. Right now, for example, I saw one for FCA the other day, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. It's friends and family pricing, number one, and it's 0% for 84 months. So, what are you going to negotiate? The only
right.
thing, it's right there for you. It doesn't get better than that. So that's why I say right now, is the best. I've even been looking because, looking at trading my car, just because with the incentives, with what's going on, is an amazing time to purchase an automobile. And there's really, with the incentives and everything on the new car side, it's really taken a lot of the guesswork out of it.
But for the CarNow business, your client is the dealerships, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our client is the dealership. Most of my day is spent on podcasts across the country, Zoom meetings, WebEx meetings across the country, and basically writing out a blueprint on how to work with your consumers to deliver that white glove, St. Regis or Ritz-Carlton experience to your customer, to make them, even in this time, want to come into your store seamlessly. So that's what most of our time is done, is loving on our dealers, serving our dealers, so they in turn can serve and love on their customers that come in and provide that experience, because that's all it is. We try to make this, that's what we've been preaching for 5 years. They wrote it in a book a long time ago, do unto others, right? So we find when we give people more than they ask for, they respond. They're reciprocal to it, right? If I say hello to you in a tone, or I say, hey, Lee, so glad to see you, you have a totally different response. So training them digitally to give consumers more than they ask for, hey, here's a, for example, here's a 48-month lease. Have you considered a 60-month purchase? Have you considered a 36-month? Giving them those type of options to where they don't feel pressured. You give them options, truly seamlessly allows the customer to be more comfortable with the process and allows them to be drawn to that particular dealership. That's what we teach.
Now, who in the car dealer makes this buying decision to work with CarNow?
It's different. We have some of the largest dealer groups in the country. It's usually the general manager or the dealer principal, or it might be an internet director. It might be a CMO. It might be a marketing director. I mean, it just depends. Obviously, someone with the authority to make a decision and sign a contract, but that is who usually, it differs per store and per organization, but that is who makes the decision to partner with us.
So, Tim, if somebody wanted to learn more about CarNow, what is the best website to use?
Sure. Just go to carnow.com. And if you want more information, obviously, you can push chat or text, and we can give you more information about that. And then you can see there's obviously some videos and some media on there with what we do and how we can serve our dealers. My information is very simple. It's tim@carnow.com. Please send me an email. I'll be happy to have a conversation with you and discuss anything, any plans, any auto dealers, a projection plan, especially now that we're all going through this unprecedented time that we are.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. That was Tim Cox with CarNow. The website again is carnow.com. This is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio.